Life after
We want to heal. Our community want to heal.
We begin at 5 with breaking news. A police officer fighting for life after a protest in Ferguson turned violent. We want to thank you for joining us. I'm Brent Solomon. The violence unfolded following hours of peaceful protests, marking 10 years since Michael Brown's death. They were partnering with the community Friday, blocking off streets for the protests. But things took a turn just before midnight. We have team coverage for you. Annie Krall is getting community reaction. But first, Travis Cummings, just back from a news conference with more on how all of these events unfolded. Travis.
Brent, a pretty intense night and afternoon. Right now, I can tell you this. We know there's one officer with a severe brain injury in the hospital. Chief Troy Doyle said during a press conference this afternoon, another officer suffered an ankle injury and a third had some abrasions to the leg.
10 years later, I got an officer fighting for his life. It's enough, and I'm done with it.
Ferguson Police Chief Troy Doyle emotional as he addresses a demonstration that turned destructive overnight outside the department on Friday, the same day Michael Brown was killed by a Ferguson police officer 10 years ago.
We allowed the protesters to block our streets out here. Not only did we allow the protesters to block our street, we even provided a car on the north end and on the north end and on the south end, so the protesters couldn't get hit by vehicles.
But then the chief says protesters started to shake and break the department's fence.
It was at that time I sent out an arrest team to make an arrest for destruction of property.
3 officers were injured, one with severe brain damage. Police say they even stepped in to help one demonstrator with a seizure. Residents and others have their own recollection of the night.
Never was there an order issued that it was an unlawful assembly. So police came out, rushed into a crowd, panicked, it was melee. So I would definitely put that the onus on the injuries that happened last night was on the police department.
One of the people that did get detained, when she went up with her camera, with her phone, she got pushed back. I got it on film. That agitated the situation.
Doyle maintains they've done the work to be better.
Everything that the activist community has advocated for, as far as body-worn cameras, implicit bias training, crisis intervention training, all this stuff, we have done all of this. What are we protesting?
The chief wants the people his officers work for to show them and this community's history respect.
We want people to peacefully protest, but we damn sure ain't gonna allow you to destroy this city, and we ain't gonna allow you to hurt none of these police officers.
In the last hour, St. Louis County prosecuting attorney Wesley Bell issued charges in this case. Bell's office says Elijah Gant of East St. Louis is being held on a $500,000 cash-only bond for multiple charges, including assaulting police officers and property damage. 4 other people were also charged this afternoon. Brent?
All right, Travis, thank you. Business owners and people who live in Ferguson are reacting tonight. Annie Krall joins us from the newsroom to continue our team coverage.
Brent, business owners tell us today they felt a call to action to try to elevate the Ferguson area after Michael Brown Jr.'s death. One owner says the protesters he met last night were there to reflect and remember Brown a decade later. Maurice King is the owner of Hive Cafe, which has been open for a little more than a year and a half. Growing up nearby, he recognized an opportunity to rebuild the community in 2020. Supporting the Ferguson Strong chalk drawing is just right outside his doorstep on South Florissant last night. King and his family were actually celebrating the premiere of a documentary, 13 Days in Ferguson, on Friday night around 11 o'clock, saying the peaceful protesters were out all night.
I saw no firearms and no real resistance. The police officers came, got 2 or 3 individuals, and they let the protesters continue on. But it was a little bit startling to see police officers from the police department about a quarter mile down the road.
King went on to say, quote, "There can always be 1 or 2 bad apples in a bunch when it comes to last night's protests." And of course, the individuals that came into his restaurant ate and watched the documentary. And he said he had deep conversations with them about some people's negative image of Ferguson left behind by Brown's death. Brent?
Thank you, Annie.